So today we're going to take a look at how we make one of these Easter tombs. We're going to take this wood here and we're going to make it into one of these nice items here for Easter. What this represents is it's symbolic of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And the way it works is we have a removable stone on the front, and it's actually a piece of cherry. And so prior to Easter, the tomb is closed. That symbolizes at least from Good Friday through Easter, that Christ is in the tomb. And then on Easter morning with the family, you can move the stone and you can turn it over to reveal the message that says he is risen. And that's symbolic of Christ rising on Easter Day. Now what I did is I went ahead and made some templates that make this easy, and I can make it very repeatable. So if we take a look first, we're going to look at the background hill. And so here's a template for that. I made it out of 1/4-inch plywood. So I'm able to just take this and lay it right on the wood and then trace it. Same thing for the front hill. I have the same thing. This piece of wood actually has a little bit of a defect with it, but I have enough wood to where I can rotate this and get a clean piece of wood for the front of the hill there. And then next is the stone. And then this is made out of cherry. And here's the template for the stone. And I actually stamped "He is risen" on that, so that helps remind me of that. And then, believe it or not, the most difficult part of this, as ironic as it may sound, the most complicated part is to make the cross. Now, I've tried to just trace these and cut these out with the bandsaw, but they don't come out very good. You're going to see how we make these in 2 different pieces and use lap joints, and it's really not terribly difficult. It's just a little bit of a precise of an operation, but I found out I get much better results with that. But this is the size of the cross. So why don't we go ahead and get started with laying these out and then cutting them out on the bandsaw. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started here and lay these out. So when it comes to the base and the crosses, these are laid out a little bit differently. We cut the crosses to 1-inch width, and then we'll do the lap joint on the table saw. The length of the base is 8 inches and the width is 3.5 inches. So we'll go over that when we get to that part. As far as the template goes here, they're pretty simple, right? So I've already squared up these pieces of walnut and maple, and so I'm just gonna pretty simply just put this in place here. It doesn't have to necessarily be exact. There's a little bit of variation to each one. That's what makes them nice and custom and unique. Makes them a nice unique gift. And on the walnut, you just have to draw them a little bit darker because they don't show up really well. So it takes a few times for it to really show up. That's why I'm going over this so many times. And there we go. There's the mountain. So we've got the stone, the front mound, and the back mound. Let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and cut out the front mound. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and sand these items here on this sander. This is a Wen sander. And I'm going to use a couple of different size drums and also a different kind of different couple of different kinds of grits of paper. All right, so we're going to rip these to 1 inch. Here we go. The cross part is going to be 4 inches, and the long part is going to be 8.5 inches. So we'll go ahead and make those cuts now, and then we'll go ahead and do the lap joint after that. So now if we take a look at the cross here, it might be hard to see on the video, but this is actually a half lap joint. So we need to make sure that these are as close as possible so that this joint looks really good. So what I've done, and I know already, is that how far down I want this to go is actually the same amount that I'm going to be going in the middle here. So I have it marked. So what we're going to do is go like this right here. So we're going to come actually right here, and we're going to cut through to here. And I have these marked right on this piece of wood right here. Let's go ahead and cut the first one. There we go. All right. Now for the second one, we're going to do the same thing on this one. And with that, we have a perfect lap joint. So now we're going to do the bases. We're just going to go ahead and put a little glue on here. Don't need much. And there we go. And we'll make sure the spaces, if there's any, this one came out really good. We'll just go ahead and clamp them with the hand clamp. All right, let's go ahead and do some sanding here. Now we're going to use a 1/8 roundover bit. So we're going to take this apart. Looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and give it a light sanding. Okay, now it's time to start the glue up. Start by assembling the mountain. So the way we do that is we put some glue on here. So you don't need a lot of glue here. So I'll put some glue on here. That's more than enough. And then so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the base to make sure that it's down all the way all the way down here. And I'll use a couple of clamps to hold it in place for now. Okay, so that's how we assemble the mountain. So here's where you really got to try to be careful. You want enough glue, because we're not using any mechanical fasteners. So you want to use enough glue to where this is going to stick and it's not going to come off. And at the same time, we don't want any squeeze out if we could avoid it. So we're going to go ahead and set this down. Perfect. Because we're going to use tape as a clamp. So you carefully lift it and make sure you have adequate amount of tape on each side. There we go. And make sure that it's even. Looks pretty good. It's nice and solid. So we'll go ahead and we'll tape this down on this side. And then we'll come around and we'll hold this flat and give it some pressure. We'll do that again. Okay. And we'll come here again. And we'll go a little bit further down on the hump of the mountain here. There we go, perfect. Just like that. Okay. Excellent. Turn this off. You want to make sure to give yourself plenty of tape so that it has good adhesion. Now it's time to get the cross glued to the back of the mountain. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this clamp. There we go. You can mark it with a pencil if you need to. I'm going to take my little glue spreader and I'm going to make sure I get some glue on the bottom here. There we go. So now we will go ahead and set this on here. With that, I'm going to go ahead and put on this clamp. Excellent. I'm going to let this dry for a couple hours. Actually, I'm going to let this dry overnight because it's late in the evening. And in the morning, I'll come back and take this apart and then we'll see how it's finished. Good morning, everybody. It's the next morning, bright and early here in the shop after we've let the tombs dry overnight. And now it's time to get these ready for finish. We're going to go ahead and remove all the clamps, and why don't we go over the materials that we need for the finish. So first of all, we're going to be using some Danish oil. I prefer to use a Danish oil. It's easy to apply and it provides a really nice finish. We need a container to put the Danish oil in. We need gloves, of course. Some people don't use gloves, but I like to use gloves. These are toxic materials and it gets really sticky if you don't use gloves. I also have some rags. These are just some old t-shirts that have been cut up, and I use an old tissue box to keep them in. And then we're going to go ahead and also use some chopsticks. The chopsticks are going to be used as racks to put these on while they're drying. And believe it or not, these chopsticks work remarkably well. So why don't we go ahead and get started. So you just basically soak your rag pretty good in the Danish oil. And you just slop it on. We want it to really soak into the wood so that we get a nice finish here and protect the wood, and it gives it a really nice color, as you could see. It's not going to be this shiny when it dries. It's going to really have more of a matte finish. That's really what I'm going for here. Like I said, this is easy to apply, and that's what I like about it. It has oils and varnishes and other things in it that really provide, in my opinion, a pretty good finish. All right, time for coat number 2. Didn't take long at all, about 10 minutes. If you take a look, I'll show you here on camera. If you take a look, it's no longer really glossy. It's kind of matte, indicating that the finish has been absorbed. Looks nice though. Okay, here we go for coat number 3. I can see right now that the wood really isn't absorbing much of the finish anymore. You can see that it's pulling up on the base. So I am going to not be as liberal with the finish. Bring out this cloth here that I've been using to apply the finish, and I'm going to wipe this down. We'll go ahead and let it sit for another 10-15 minutes, and then I'll wipe it down with a clean dry cloth, and that'll be it. Okay, so it's been 15 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and wipe off this finish. I'll let it dry overnight for 24 hours, and then outside, and then I'll bring it inside, let it dry for another 24 hours, and then we'll come back. We'll put some bumpers on here for the to protect furniture, and then we'll also put a stamp on here, which is like my signature for the wood, and then we'll also stamp the tombstones with "He is risen." So we'll see you in a couple of days. Good morning, everybody. It's early in the shop here, and it's 2 days later, and the tombs are ready to finish. It's been 2 days, and the Danish oil has had an opportunity to cure fully. So let me show you the supplies that we're going to go ahead and need today to finish these things off. So first of all, we're going to need some archival ink. We're going to need a stamp with the message "He is risen." We're going to need some rubber feet. And then we're going to need a garbage bag to burnish the surface. Okay, let's go ahead and get started here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to tear off a piece of the paper bag. And for right now, we're going to burnish the surface of the bottom of the tomb, and also the tombstone. So you just fold up the paper bag, and let's grab the stone. And it's pretty smooth, actually. And you just kind of rub it, and boy, it does get smoother, I'll tell you that. It feels smooth when you start, but it really smooths out nicely. All right, so let's see. This side's the most interesting, so I think I'll leave this one alone. We're going to go ahead and stamp this side here. Now, what I like to do is I like to do a couple of test stamps. So we're going to open up our ink pad. And let's go ahead and give it a try here. Now, you don't want to press really hard, nice and easy. Get a nice impression. Yeah, a little bit more ink. And the pressure, it's the pressure and the amount of ink, really. There we go, we got a nice impression right there. Okay, here we go. Perfect. So now, let's go ahead and put the bottoms on. So these are just some rubber feet, one in each corner. They just peel right off here. So now, starting on Good Friday, you have the tomb covered. And then come Easter morning, you uncover the tomb and reflect the message, He is risen. And there you go. That's how you make one of these beautiful Easter tombs. And I hope you have fun making them, because I just sure did. So thanks for watching. Hit the like and subscribe. Have a great day.